morning or afternoon more. I came inside this slide because it's less windy in here.
Yeah.
Well, at least we'll pick up less wind on the camera. What are we doing today, buddy?
We're at the playground.
We are at the playground because
And
Daddy is home.
and guess what? Woohoo!
Yeah, Mitch is at home editing some videos that are going up this next week. Today's Sunday, and it feels weird even saying that it's Sunday because Sundays just look so different now.
Mom,
Yeah?
there's a spider on the slide.
Oh, I want to come see. Oh yeah, it's just a little spider. I think that's one of those fishing spiders. It's just real tiny. Last year, it was probably sometime in the winter, I think we had come home from spending the weekend at my parents' house, and there was, I looked it up, and it's called a dark fishing spider, and it was huge. I mean, like, biggest spider I've ever seen in this part of the country, and it was sitting on our basement step, the top step. We came home, and the cat's sitting right next to it. It's just on the basement step, and we, like, looked at the cat, and we're like, what? We leave you in this house. You're supposed to be in charge. And you just let this guy come in and hang out all weekend? Like, he just let him move on in and just hanging out like he's a friend of yours? No. We don't do that. Yeah, was Theo just inviting spiders into the house? Yeah. I was straightening my hair today, and I straightened Manny's hair. Look at this. Here, let's move it forward how we had it earlier. Look at that. Here, look at the. It just makes him look so different. So different. It's funny because I think in the last video he had like his hair like braided, and now it's straightened. You just look different all the time, taking after Mom and Dad, just doing our hair different all the time. So we biked down, Manny and I just biked down to the playground earlier, and we talked about going to the lake today, but we didn't go. And now it's almost too late to go to the lake. If the weather's good, do you want to go to the lake tomorrow?
And I've been asking to play Sesame Street game
Yes, I know.
all day.
If the weather's good tomorrow, do you want to go to the lake tomorrow?
Nah,
Not to the lake?
nope.
What are you wanting to do for the rest of the night?
Nothing.
Nothing? It's Sunday. What do we usually do on Sundays? On Sunday nights?
Nothing.
No, usually Sunday nights we call someone.
Church.
Well, we do church Sunday mornings in most cases. But what do we do on Sunday night?
We call someone.
We do call someone. Who do we call?
Grammy and Grampy.
Grammy and Grampy. Oh, you talked to them yesterday. Well, we used to call my in-laws every Sunday. I mean, we've been doing it for years. Since before Emmanuel was born, we've been calling them every Sunday. Just because it was where we would realize we haven't talked to them in weeks. And so we just made a point of every Sunday we're going to call just to make sure.
Yeah, you know that. I have an iPad on my face.
So we have continued to call every Sunday, but now Manny, now that he can run FaceTime, he calls them all the time.
Yeah, and
He'll talk to them like 3 times a week.
Yeah, and I also call me myself.
You call yourself?
Yeah, I do.
Who else do you like to call on FaceTime?
I also call Mommy, Daddy.
Well, if we're not there, you do.
Yeah. I want Mama that you had a party. And no, then Georgia was here with just with me.
That was December of 2018. Mitch had a staff Christmas party, and my parents stayed with Manny. we went to it.
Uh-huh.
That's like the last party we went to.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. And now I'm gonna
And you bring it up all the time, like as ammo for like, you left me. We were only gone for like 2 hours.
Oh.
Yeah. And I got laryngitis. Do you remember that? Mommy couldn't talk for like a week.
What?
Oh, you just spit all over my... Oh my gosh. I hope that got caught on camera. If it did, instant replay now. That was disgusting. Oh. Gross. So gross. A few weeks ago, no, not a few weeks ago, it was like a month ago when my sister was here. We were, Mitch, Shauna, and I were all in the kitchen. And I was over here, like by the sink. And were you in here? No, you weren't. Mitch wasn't in here. It was just Shauna and I. And we heard a loud bang. And I thought that she had like slammed the... Manny has this little chair that he keeps in the kitchen to stand on. And I thought she had slammed it. And she thought I had like slammed this cabinet. And we both looked at each other like, whoa, a little overreaction in the kitchen. But neither of us did anything. So we couldn't figure out like, what was that? Well, later that night, Mitch had opened this lower cabinet, and I keep kombucha in there while it's on its second ferment. And there was a bottle like this one. And the carbonation was so strong that the bottom of it blew out. So like the bottle exploded. And so we realized, oh, that's what the big bang was. Well, today, when Manny and I were gone at the playground, Mitch said he heard a loud bang. He was up in, well, Manny's old room, our new, like, office type. So, like, here's the back of the house, this room. And he heard this loud bang. And he mentioned it to me, and I said, could it have been kombucha? And he goes, oh, I didn't think of that. So he went and checked. And I said, I moved everything to the fridge, so it would have to be in the fridge. And he couldn't find anything. And he goes, I don't know. It was weird. He goes, it sounded like it came from outside. And after I heard it, I looked out and nobody was out there. Everything seemed quiet and everything. But then later on, over in this part of the yard, we saw a bunch of neighbors from that live across the street and down a ways, walking through and like looking up into the trees. Like they were really searching for something. And later on in the evening, because we couldn't figure out what they were looking for, later on in the evening, Mitch said, you know what? I wonder if that bang had something to do with what they're looking for. So this is my first time kind of coming out here. I mean, they were like all through the trees, looking around. I kind of wonder, and they kept looking up, like up into the trees. I'm kind of wondering if maybe they had been flying a drone of some sort and it crashed over here. So now I'm really curious. And see, when they were out looking, I really wanted Mitch to go out and ask them what they were looking for, but he wouldn't. He goes, well, if you're so curious, why don't you look? I'm like, because I want to go out there and ask, but I want to know. So I said, oh, come on, like you don't want to know. You're not curious at all? He's like, no, I'm not that curious. Really? So we never found out because he didn't want to ask. And I even said, okay, so if I go out and ask, you just won't want to know? He's like, yeah, I can live with that. I don't need to know. So annoying. So we don't know what they were looking for. But now I am very, very curious to find whatever it is. Now I don't know what I'm looking for, but I know it's somewhere in these trees, probably, because all of their attention was very focused over here, which makes me think it might be some sort of a drone because they would have an idea of where it crashed because nobody was over here when it happened. But if they had a video type thing, I don't know, or they knew it was flying over here, I have no idea. But I think something is somewhere over here, and I'm determined to find out what it was. It may come to nothing. So if I find anything or find anything out, I'll hop back on here and let y'all know, but right now, I haven't got a clue. Not a clue. So I was just outside talking to neighbors, and we found out that what they have been looking for in the trees, not a drone, something much smaller and more difficult to find, it's a parakeet. I guess one of the neighbor girls had her pet parakeet outside, like, I don't know, just brought it outside to play like you would a dog. I don't know, and it took off. I mean, obviously, it took off, and we have been, now we have like a bunch of the neighbor kids and neighbors like over in our yard looking for it because it's the last place they saw it fly. And they've been playing on like, just like a video clip or something of a parakeet making sound so we can hear what it's supposed to sound like. And then we listen and we keep hearing it in a tree. And right now I'm actually inside. We have a pair of like small binoculars and I'm looking for them. We used to have them out, but I think they just kept getting played with that we, put them away somewhere and don't know where they are now. But I want to find them because we can hear it up in the one tree. But first, I have to find them. And the thing is, I just went through, like, everything. And I didn't see them. I'm not finding these binoculars anywhere. Which, not gonna lie, driving me a little bit crazy. Because I know, my basement is a little crazy. And that's because I have a bunch of things listed like on Facebook Marketplace and stuff that I'm trying to sell, and I have them all stored in the basement. So stuff down here is a little, there is order to the chaos. I know where things are. And the only reason I'm looking in the basement is because I can't find them anywhere else. We have birdseed down here. I'm wondering if I take birdseed outside, if the parakeet would come toward the birdseed. Food can lure things, so who knows? The one neighbor said she was gonna buy a new parakeet if this one doesn't return. But it would be nice to save this one, because if it doesn't get found, it probably won't make it. I mean, they're not native birds, right? So we searched for a long time, but we never found that parakeet. I'm gonna check in the morning, because we could hear it. Like, we could hear it over and over again. I know we heard it.
Yeah. I don't know what a parakeet sounds like.
Well,
there were lots of birds.
I was saying on here earlier, the neighbor kids, looked up on their phone the sound of a parakeet, and they kept playing it, and then they'd stop, and we would hear the same sound coming. So I know we could hear it, we just couldn't see it, which apparently it was bright blue, so we should have, I don't know, we didn't see it.
The trees are thick with foliage now.
They are, and I mean, who knows if it stuck around? I don't know. The last place they saw it was in our trees, but we didn't find it. So I am going to go out there tomorrow and just kind of check the ground. Like, there's part of me that wants to find it and part of me that doesn't want to find it. So we'll see. It's chilly tonight, and parakeets just don't. They're not really meant for that climate. So I feel bad for the neighbor girl, but it's one of those things. Hopefully we find it, but we're going to wrap this up for the night because it's late and we're getting ready for bed. So,
good night.
Good night.